Hey and welcome to the MX-5 guide on Limburg Park GP in iRacing. This track is easy to learn but hard to master, which is great because it means you will have tight and fun races in every skill bracket. If you want to fight for wins in your splits, then you should focus your practice on the first turn because it has the biggest impact on your lap times. You can practice against my ghost car like for all the other guides. You can find the lap files on the community Discord, which is linked in the description down below, and you can also find the telemetry on Garage61. The braking zone into the first turn offers the only opportunity for attacks, which means that people will be very aggressive on the main straight. Always keep your eyes on the mirrors, and when someone is close, then you want to drive to the right edge of the track and defend the inside line to force them to the outside. If you are not in a fight, then you want to drive on the racing line and stick to the left edge of the track. Use the 200 meter board as marker and hit the brakes. This braking zone is divided into two parts. In the first one, you want to point the nose of the car towards the upcoming inside curb, straighten the wheel again to keep the car stable, go hard on the brakes and shift down into third gear. In the second part of the braking zone, you want to release the pressure on the brakes and only keep a soft touch on them to stretch your deceleration deep into the turn. You also want to aim for a tight line around the first inside curb without heavily attacking it. Shift down into second gear, and I'm using a manual blip here to keep the car stable on the downshift. If you are struggling with it, then I would recommend you to use the auto blip assist for this week. Once you hit your target speed, you want to lift, be patient and wait until the car turns towards the exit. As you get closer to the exit, you want to slowly increase the pressure on the throttle and aim for the upcoming inside curb. Attack the exit curb, and once you are on it, you also want to attack the throttle and accelerate towards the next straight. This turn has no brake marker, but it's not a big deal, because you don't need to brake that much anyway. You want to position the car on the center right of the track, give the brakes a soft touch, and keep the car centered as you drive into the entry. Maybe you can already guess why we wanted to stick to the center. It allows us to hit a nice exit through the next two turns and carry most of our speed onto the next straight. If you stick to the left edge around here and follow a tight line, then you will lose out on this additional speed, which can give your opponents an opportunity for attacks into the next braking zone. And if you stick to the right edge of the track, then you will struggle to find grip because the rear of the car is very loose. Be patient, wait until the car turns in, and once you know that you will hit a tight line on the exit, you want to step on the throttle again and attack the upcoming inside curb. Stay on the throttle and keep pushing the car to the left. If you do everything right and get the car close to the white line on the left here, then you will be able to take the next turn flat out without lifting and without touching the brakes. Stay on the throttle, attack the inside curb, and a good indicator for a solid run is the timing of your upshift. If you can shift into third gear when you are at the curb, then you've hit a good lap. Use the tree on the left side as marker for braking, point the car towards the upcoming outside curb, hit the brakes hard and shift all the way down into first gear. I'm pausing here to show you that you want to get right to the edge of the curb. This gives you a wide entry, which makes the next chicane way easier. Aim for a tight entry around the first inside curb, and since we won't step on the brakes again, it's also important that you are aggressive on the throttle, because, believe it or not, this is the point where we start to build up our speed for the main straight. Position the car on the left edge of the track and lift by roughly 50% when you turn in. Aim for a tight line around the curb, but don't attack it to keep the car stable, and since we are in a high speed section, you also want to go flat out as soon as possible. The same applies to the last turn. You want to enter it from the left edge of the track, lift by roughly 25% and aim for a tight line around the inside curb. Enjoy the uncut cockpit lap. I want to thank you for your support, wish you all the best for the next weekend. See you next time.